Go.
We're live?
Yes.
All right. Welcome to Feats and Fables, a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons actual play podcast. This is our second show of our new season. It is set in Aglaron. And previously on Feats and Fables, Mira, the Water Genasi Druid, Silvio, the Satyr Bard, Ross, the Lizard Folk Barbarian, Wildfire, the Fire Genasi Wizard, and Vincent, the Human Fighter, the heroes of Aglaron, headed out to patrol the Umber Marshes. They were looking for refugees from the fascist nation of Thay, or Wildfire, or I'm hearing an echo. Are we good?
I think so.
Okay.
Yep.
They were headed out into the Umber Marshes to find refugees who might be fleeing Thay, to see if there's any monsters or other threats in the marshes that need to be dealt with. And they had headed out, and their group of scouts in the Aglaron army is a little bit famous because they've gone on 2 patrols now, and they've come back without their CO twice. So the Headless Horsemen are on their own. And right when we left last week, they had just encountered some aggressive plant monsters. So just to reintroduce our heroes, so you can connect faces and names, we have Andrew, who is playing Mira. Ben is playing Silvio. Kodab Games is playing Ross. Joe is playing Wildfire, and Ron is playing Vincent Tussaud. Say hello to your fans, gents.
How's it going?
Thanks for joining us.
No!
All right, so we are in the nation of Aglaron, and y'all had headed out from Glarendar, which is here. You should be able to see the yellow loop on the map, into the Umber Marshes. You have an assigned patrol sector. There's a bunch of patrols, well, 5 different patrols out in the Umber Marshes right now, so you're just one of them. You have an area to patrol, but you don't have a patrol route, because trying to plot a path through a marsh that's all got shifting small streams and sandbars and marshes and all that, it's just not practical. So they rely on you to make the best choices possible about your patrol route. The Umber Marshes, as you'll recall, is a huge, green, sticky hell of a marsh. It drains into the Umber River, and it's got a lot of small tributaries that tend to shift and flow as the water moves through it.
Paige, I don't know why you have to describe it that way. This seems lovely.
Because I've been in those marshes.
Would not recommend. Would not recommend.
I mean, they're pretty cool. I do like me some black mana in a very serious way. So I dig marshes, but like they're only fun for a while. Once you've been there for too long, they're hot and too sticky and have bugs. So this is what they look like on a more ground level. So this is what you're tromping through. Like you might be fine tromping along in these little islands, and then you get to a point where it's just open water, and you're going to have to find a way around. There had been a mention of flatboats, perhaps in the marshes, but it becomes pretty impractical because you'll be able to use them for an hour, and then you have to portage them for 3 hours, and you can use them for an hour, and you have to portage them for 3 hours. It just gets to be almost more trouble than it's worth.
I mean, I don't know about that. We have very strong people. They seem like they could carry these boats without much problem.
Yes. All right. So when we had gotten into the marshes, all right. Is everybody with me on the marsh map? Yes. All right. So
Paige, that thing was definitely not that close last time.
Sure. Okay, where was it then? You tell me.
I don't know, but it wasn't adjacent to me, that's for sure.
Fair
I
enough.
thought it leapt at you at the end of last session, and that was where we stopped.
You know what? It's going to leap at you anyway. So
I just remember the butt waggling. I don't remember the leaping.
yes. So when we left our heroes, we'll start with the butt waggle because everybody loves cats. So when we left off, this creature, your keen senses had seen this creature. Yes, your keen senses had seen this creature and several others in the swamp. It is roughly bipedal. It's roughly quadrupedal, and it looks like just kind of a mat of marsh grass and branches and twigs. And you actually see more than one of them, but they blend into the marsh so well that they're really hard to see. Creeping along behind them are some smaller creatures that look like just bundles of animate sticks and vines. So they definitely appear to be more of a vegetable threat than animal or mineral.
Had we encountered these before when we'd gone on patrols?
I don't know that you've encountered them because they're pretty rare, but they are widely known. They're called fen beasts, and they're a type of vegetative critter roughly akin to a wolf. They eat meat, they go about on four legs, they have very good camouflage, but they are definitely a plant creature.
Can I make some sort of check to see if I know any hunting strategies that might be effective?
Yes. Please make me, gosh, this thing is looking at me and I think it's going to jump check.
Well, I've got a nature check if that would work.
I think nature would work just fine.
I give you a 15.
All right. As I pull everything up on D&D Beyond, since I had forgot to do that. You know they do not like fire. And fire damages them quite a bit. And can also be used to run them off.
Got it.
They also tend to grow back very quickly from their wounds. But if you hit them with, you had a 15?
A 15.
If you hit them with fire or ice from magic or a torch or something like that, it prevents them from growing their wounds back every round.
Which one were you describing again?
The quadrupedal ones,
Okay.
the fin beasts. You also see some little ones out there too, like this fella. Do you want to make some kind of nature check at that one too?
Sure. That's when I've got a 13.
All right. You think that is something called a thorn blight. It's basically just like a bunch of stickers powered by hate. Like most stickers are powered by hate anyway, but these are especially powered by hate. They are pretty they're not particularly dangerous. They have a ranged attack, but if you get enough of them together, or particularly if they come upon a group of people like at night when they're in their tents and sleeping bags or whatever, they can be a real problem. But like 3 or 4 of them on their own is not any sort of challenge for this group. But when the fin beasts are there as well, it becomes a little more serious.
I see.
So the fin beast stalks out of the marsh, and you can just see the glowing orange light in its eyes, and it does the butt wiggle like a cat and leaps at you. And then we rolled a bunch of initiative.
Yes, we did, and I got very low.
Yes. Yes, you did. And in fact, Silvio's feels empowered to move very quickly into the combat. And Ben has gotten very extra with the number of bars over his head.
I mean, I like bars. Bars are good.
I miss bars. I haven't seen a bar in a real long time.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen my home bar, but which
This
is
is true.
well stocked, but
Yes.
still. Do we know if these are animal, mineral, or vegetable as far as
Definitely vegetable.
as far as like an elemental or something like that, or is that unknown?
Like, in what context are you asking this question?
Is its type elemental for the purposes of spells?
It is not.
Okay, cool.
I might be lying. No, they're definitely plant creatures.
Okay, cool.
The creature type is plant.
Cool. In that case, Silvio will look at the creature and look at Rouse. You've got this, right? You don't need me to do anything. I'll just stand back here and encourage you. How is that?
How about bringing up some fire?
I do not really do that. It is not in my repertoire.
Torch, flint and steel, anything.
These still sounds like things that are in your pack, but not in mine. But still, you'll do great, buddy. So I will use a bardic inspiration on you, so you can use that at some points. And then Silvio will strum a quick tune on his lute, and then hold out his hand, and will attempt to Eldritch Blast this creature.
All right, so I am widely reputed to be quite extra.
Yeah, what's up?
But the one token I don't have on here is Bardic Inspiration.
Oh my god.
I am, in fact, the worst.
Paige, I think that
you. I gained your power.
I think that statement needs some description of your extra. Do you care to explain to the audience what madness you've done?
So, Roll20, which is a program I've used for hundreds of hours to DM, is one that I really like. Program, website, whatever. And they come with a set of status tokens for things like you've been knocked prone, or you grappled, or you're frozen in place. But they're not the ones I wanted, so I went and got my own tokens for all the 5e conditions. And you know what? I will actually put them up. Joe will have to help me with this, but I'll put them on our website so anybody can use them if they want to.
Sure.
And I'll include a Bardic Inspiration one in the next one. But Ben, you got to remind me to add that one.
It's okay. I'll remember in my heart that you have let my class out to die.
Oh. Coda, I'm just going to give you a bright yellow circle on your character to remind you that you've got that Bardic Inspiration.
All right.
So
give unto me your Eldritch Blast, sir.
I shall give unto you. I shall give unto you Saloon Starry Smites. Aha!
Ooh, I like it. I like it. All right. You absolutely target it straight between the eyes. And tell me what your Eldritch Blast looks like.
So as it said on the can and in the description, it is a silvery blast of energy that comes out from the center of Silvio's hands and blasts into it with an explosion of glitter.
An explosion of glitter. I don't know where she is. I don't know if she's listening, but Amy's somewhere is smiling. All right. And then I will take 9 points of damage. All right. Somebody asked what the bar over their heads was. The bar over their heads allows me to put how much damage you've already done to them in that bar, so you know. I don't want to put... The way it's designed is that you are supposed to put, like, you know, if something's got 50 hit points and you've done 12 to it, it'd be 12/50. But I don't want you guys to know how many hit points things have. So it's whatever hit points, and I'll keep adding up over 1, because I have to have something in the denominator math. But that's what the green bars are. All right. With that... number green comes padding out of the woods, and I don't think I'm very.
I'm sorry. Upon completion of my blast of glitter, I will return back behind my more stalwart companions.
Sure, sounds good to me.
So you're hiding behind the wizard.
I mean, you know, Wildfire Talk's a big game, so it's got to be fun.
30. All right, so another one pads out of the plants. I've got most of the map darkened out, not because it's dark, but just because the plants are so thick you can't see through them. So another one pads out here and wiggles its butt and runs at Wildfire, but gets there and can't do a darn thing.
Oh boy.
See?
Then
I moved just in time.
Yep. Then number blue goes and tries to take a bite out of Ross.
How untoward.
I duck. By which I mean I pull a duck out and feed him the duck instead of me.
That's a good strategy.
God. Carry live ducks to feed to monsters? That's quackers.
That's not the chicken we brought to be our leader, is it?
Inspiration point for the terrible, terrible pun.
Excellent.
Right. Coda, I have good news and I have bad news.
I want the bad news first.
I've crit you.
That is pretty bad. Okay, what's the good news?
There is no good news.
She'll give you max. Your new character will start with max gold.
The good news is you only take 15 points of damage. That's 1/5.
Okay.
Then the next attack.
Nope. All I got is 1. All right. However,
Side
at that
note,
point
I
in
think
time-
I forgot to roll initiative.
Oh, perhaps.
Ooh, you are not showing up.
Yes, roll me initiative, please, Andrew. Would you?
I'm
Dun,
gonna
dun,
do
Remember-
dun.
I don't see
Remember to
Ron
click-
either.
Yeah,
Right.
I know I had rolled before.
Well, Roll20 didn't keep it from last week, and it's the worst. So be sure and click your token and then roll your initiative.
I have done this thing, I think, and I still don't show up in the tracker.
That's all right. I got you.
All right.
Oh, okay. I think that's about what I had last week as well. Something not great.
Should I? Yeah, there you go.
And then
all right.
Andrew should probably meet since
This is number
the
orange.
1812.
Yeah. So that would hurt. Yes. So go ahead, Mr. Andrew.
Oh, okay.
You can go before
Excellent.
number orange.
Yeah, yay.
Pardon me, Dr. Andrew.
So the stuff like this grass here isn't any kind of like difficult terrain or anything.
You
Or sorry,
know,
the shrubs, I should say.
Did you see the top of the map, Andrew?
where it says plants equal difficult terrain.
Oh, aha. Excellent. Reading English is my second language.
It is not.
Actually, it literally is. But that's something for another episode.
Fair.
I'll move over here because even with difficult terrain, that's not too bad.
Sure.
And
You'll have
I feel yeah.
2 points of cover and be obscured if you would like to hide.
excellent. And I'm gonna assume that my friend here probably needs a little bit of support. He looked like he took a bad hit. I'm going to create a bonfire with some kind of token. Should I just go ahead and draw a shape or something?
Yeah. Just go to freehand and then pick an. Actually, I'll make one for you. Don't worry about it.
I'm making something, an orange box.
Sure.
How's that? Like that. Oh, and it's not filled. I can't move it. Oh God.
Looks like you missed somehow.
I did.
Andrew, you need to go. I'll be right back. Hang on. I got you.
I should be allowed to operate these. Oh no, it's fine. All right, I'm gonna draw the box right there. Aha. No, she made
This
me a
is
fireball.
everywhere.
Yes.
It is.
We're just burning the whole place down.
Oh God.
I was
I
afraid
should-
that's what's going to happen.
I should
I'm
step-
down.
I should step. I'm just gonna move it over. Oh God.
I'm trying to give you the good one, Andrew. Like, stop. Stop. All right. So you're
All right,
putting a
that
bonfire
works.
on that one?
Yep.
Okay. What does this do to me? What prizes do I get with this?
So I conjure up a little fire from the ground. It sort of comes up from the grass like a set of really terrible roots. And any creature that is where this box of heat is must succeed on a dex save or take 1d8 fire damage.
I love it. All right, dex save coming up. And by
Yeah.
that, I mean just dexterity check. I offer you a 14, sir.
And my oh God, can't actually see
Yay,
my.
new characters!
I imagine
I
your
think-
DC's 13.
Yeah, it's 13.
Okay, so I made it then?
You did make
Yep.
it,
Okay, do I take half damage?
Nope, not from a cantrip.
Okay,
and think so. Yeah,
all right. So,
but it will remain. So
okay. It stands up really tall on its viney tippy toes so it doesn't burn its belly.
right.
All right, so that is number orange. Who is going to move 30 feet and then shoot somebody? 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. All right. Coda, I got more bad news for you. I'm gonna.
Is it more crits? Because no,
I don't know. Let's find out. No, I have rolled a 7. A blast of thorns goes right by your head, and you can hear it whistling by, but it misses you.
Hmm.
All right, that gives us number. Number red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's going to stay over here. All right. And number pink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. Y'all can see them there because they don't have any actions to hide, but they will have a couple of points of cover just because there's a lot of plants flipping around. Wildfire. The name like that, this encounter is apparently made for you, sir.
Apparently.
Right?
Well, it would have been if the bard wasn't a coward with like triple my AC but hid behind me. So
I don't know what you mean, man.
Well, I mean, I think your AC is 17 and mine's 12. So
Where's
I mean,
your
it's
mage
18,
armor,
but who's
sir?
why
Did
would
you-
I waste it? Why would I waste a spell slot on mage armor?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Munis, this is what he gets for being an invoker and not an abjurer.
Let's all
Mhm,
keep in mind,
mhm.
guys. Joe usually plays a paladin. Okay.
He's learning.
Well,
We're all learning.
I support
We're all
your decision not to waste one of your valuable spells on mage armor.
learning.
I'll get in there in just a minute.
ugh. Well, so if I move to here, that's not even really that many. That's not terrible.
One of the fun things that Roll20 does is allow you to measure very accurately on the battle mat.
Well, yeah, so I'm trying to figure out where my cone is going to go. Okay, so I move to here, and then cast Burning Hands,
Uh-huh.
emanating from here downward. So it's going to be this square, and then these 3 squares.
Sure. I owe you a bunch of saves, I think.
You do. They are
Right?
reflex saves.
Dexterity in this edition.
Aw.
All right. I offer you geez Louise.
It seems like you should take that first roll, Joe. I don't know why it auto rolled damage and then rolled again.
Oh, I just missed the first one. I'm going to take
I have
whatever the first one was.
A 5, a 20, and a 3.
So the DC is 13.
So this fella here will take half damage.
And it's 13 for full, 7 for half.
All right.
13 or 14?
Sorry, 14 for full, 7 for half.
No.
It's a stout roll, Joe. I mean, Wildfire, living up to your name.
That's me.
Right. When you cast that spell at them, the minute the fire flickers from your hands, that you can tell like the body language of all these plants becomes very defensive and frightened. And when your spell sears through them, they make loud screeching planty noises of unhappiness.
Good.
What does a planty noise sound like?
Nope,
Sure.
that's
I don't know, man.
Silence. It just sounds like silence.
I was hoping for photosynthesis, but yeah,
What does
What, like the
photosynthesis
carpet?
sound like?
that's my question.
It sounds like a bunch of undergraduates howling because it's hard to remember. All right.
It's a song by carbon-based life forms. I mean, that's what it sounds like, clearly.
We should put that on our website too. All right. With that, the last one comes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't do nothing. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. It's just going to go to here. You notice that while you humanoid non-plant creatures have kind of a hard time bushwhacking through the plants and they're difficult terrain for you, doesn't seem like it's difficult terrain for these guys. They're cheating.
Hmm.
Roz. Now is your chance to take your vengeance. Oh, this person took fire data. This person took fire damage.
Joe, chat seems to not think you have enough Ys in your name.
I mean,
They demand more Ys.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's how you know it's cool and edgy.
That is true. That is true.
So what you gonna do, Coda?
Sorry. All right. So I'm going to move down here, and you want to know what really pisses me off, Paige?
Getting crits.
What really pisses you off?
Not only getting crit, but being surprised. Like it takes a thing, an extraordinary amount of stealth to sneak up on my senses, and that just needs to be killed with
Fire.
But sadly,
Fire.
all I've got is the sword. So I'm gonna rage.
Become mechanically angry.
I'm gonna become so mechanically angry. You don't even know. And I'm gonna move and attack the little one here.
All right. Rather than the big one that's already damaged.
Yeah, I mean it's
Okay.
currently
They're small.
smoldering, so I feel like it might not be have much fight in it.
Okay.
All right, so I want to make sure I'm doing this correct. If I hit my longsword, it's going to give me a roll, but will that automatically include my +2 damage from rage?
I pass that one over to Ben, who plays.
Let's find out together.
20
Did
very
you
frequently.
select a barbarian in the character mancer, or did you just fill things in automatically?
I've selected a barbarian and the character mancer.
So it should have an option for raging under your attacks that you should click on, and that would add your damage.
Right, a 17 hits it all day long. Are you using it one-handed or two-handed?
Currently, I am one-handed because I've got
All right.
a shield in my other. So it's 7 + 4. So it does not look like it is including my +2.
So that's 13 points. All right. With that, you slice the angry, hate-filled pile of stickers apart, and it twitches a couple of times as it hits the ground, and then just starts rapidly decomposing into soil.
Ugh.
Gross.
All right. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Well
Okay.
done.
Victor Toussaint.
All right. Victor, who is rear guard, notices we're being attacked from the front, mostly.
Mostly.
He'll take his longbow, and he will shoot at the one that is currently on his barbarian friend.
So this one down here, number blue.
Yes.
He will have, there's a lot of traffic between you and he will have a couple points of cover because of it.
All right. I will ignore all of that since I'm a sharpshooter.
Excellent.
Oh, snap!
I see
And-
Joe has installed more Y's in his name.
Yep.
I'll use inspiration I earned last session, probably for a pun of some type,
All right.
and I will shoot with the -5.
Ooh.
Bold
And-
move, sir.
18 will do it.
So that'll give us 14 total damage.
All right. It howls in plenty-like pain again, and you can see that the vines that make up its body are starting to shrivel and fall to the ground, but it's not quite still in there swinging. Anything else?
I will drop my longbow, hopefully somewhere not too watery, move up, and draw my greatsword.
Oof. All right. Solid turn. Silvio Donadu.
So, seeing that we are going to swords, I shall let my loot go so that it falls back on its strap across my back, because that I do not let fall in the water. And I will draw my blade.
It might get polluted.
We do not
Oh.
talk about such beautiful things this way. So I will saunter and mosey or even meander up here.
Okay.
I will then give it a good old poke. If my character sheet will come up.
You're always welcome to just roll the 20 / roll d20 and go from there.
I could do that. However, I will, as I draw my sword, I will call forth to Talos to make this creature suffer more. And let's see if I am effective. Aha! Does a 15 hits?
It does.
Right. It can have 5 points of magical piercing, and it is sheathed in thunderous energy.
Aha. Okay. Again, it's looking pretty hurt. If this were perhaps a different edition of D&D, you might even consider it bloodied.
Excellent.
Even if it's in this edition of D&D, it will be considered bloodied.
Yes. As
Well, it
bloodied
would be
as
showing damage. It's not necessarily bloodied, but
There's
No,
no
it's-
mechanical effect.
It's definitely leaking. It's sapped. There you go. Thank you.
Yes.
Ooh.
Its sap is everywhere. It's awful.
So,
all right. Anything else from Sylvia?
this is such a sappy session. I just don't know what to do about it.
Let's get done with this turn ASAP.
That's the end of my pass.
Okay. In that case, it is number green. I have taken fire damage, and I'm very unhappy about that. So I do not do any sort of regeneration. Womp womp. I have Wildfire, who lit people on fire, including me, a pokey stick bard, and a great sword swinging. Nope, I hate fire. So it's going to turn around and try and bite Wildfire.
Bring it.
May I offer you a 20 to hit?
That hits.
Yes. In that case, I would like to offer you 8 points of piercing damage.
I suppose I'll accept it, but only today.
All right. Yeah, that's what I got. Yep, that's what I got. All right, so that takes it to number blue, who did not take any fire damage. Aha! And it seems to heal. Some.
Number blue? Which one's number blue?
The one we
Oh,
got.
I see. Oh, I didn't
As
realize he
big
was,
as smart ass.
I didn't realize he was still up, actually. I thought for some reason that... Okay.
wait a minute. Did Mira's hotboxing not deal damage?
No.
Nope.
It was no damage on a save.
Ugh.
Hotboxing.
Does
But
it make...
it also makes a saving throw on when it ends its turn in the box with the fire.
It's not ended its turn yet.
Okay, but when it does,
Fair enough.
oh boy.
Oh boy. And in fact, it is going to tippy toe out of the fire. It does that thing like a cat, like it's walking, like trying to shake its feet off, trying to not get on the fire. That Dragonborn, that lizard folk was really delicious, but there was somebody over here throwing fire around. I'm going to offer you an attack of opportunity.
I will take it.
Oh god, it's up in my face.
Sadly, I will get an 8.
All right, it just eeled past you. Since it's a plant creature, it can kind of like almost get down to ground level and flow along the ground when it wants to get away from someone. So it moseys up to Mira and tries to take a bite of her. I offer you a 19 to hit
That will hit.
for 8 points of damage. And it is your turn. How would you like to respond to this attack? This creature's like in your face with plenty teeth going snap, 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 snap.
I think that is plenty unpleasant
I mean,
And-
it is.
and rather rude. So I
It
think
is.
I'm going to thunder wave this sucker away from me.
Nice.
Get your hands off.
Thunder.
So if you'll give me
Thunder
a con
wave.
save Con save, please.
Sure.
Although it's a 15-foot cube, can I hit both of the stick-like creatures with something like that?
You could hit Wildfire and the creature.
Yeah.
If you move around one in the difficult terrain, I think you can get both the creatures, but not Wildfire, right?
I don't.
I don't see
'cause
how that
you can
comes.
fill. You can fill this cube.
15-foot. Which cube?
No, you're. Never mind.
Ron and I are agreeing on the architecture.
No, you're absolutely right. I was trying to understand. And I'll just deal with the one that's up in my grill.
Okay, love the one
So-
you're with.
Yeah,
I
so
have-
Mira will yes, back.
All right, it snaps at you, but the blast of kinetic energy emanating from your hands catches it like flat in the face. How much damage am I taking for this?
It will take 15 points of thunder damage.
Damn.
Holy crap!
All right, so you thunder wave it back, and normally it would just throw it back, 10 feet, 15 feet?
Mm-hmm.
And it just turns it into like Caesar salad. Like it disintegrates it and blows it like a leaf blower all over that quadrant of the map.
Amazing.
All right.
Ooh. That was dramatic.
Anything else? Like you could move if you've got a bonus action that makes you happy.
I don't believe I have one actually. So
Okay.
I am actually quite okay where I am.
All right, so this is red and then pink. All right, red took fire damage and therefore will not regenerate and is sad about all the things. All right, so this one is also... we don't like fire. We don't like fire a whole lot. We also don't like getting up on people. All right, so this one's going to shoot at Wildfire. It fires a blast of thorns at Wildfire. May I offer you an 18 to hit?
Oh yeah.
You may have 4 points of damage. Then I will go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and get up in Mira's face. And then this one is going to does not regenerate and is also sad. And does the same thing. It is going to fire at you again a second time.
Now I'm just insulted.
However, the rasping basso of the lizard folk apparently rattled it, and it like bobbles the attack midway, and then decides to rabbit over here to be closer. Mira, no more. There you go. All right, Wildfire.
1 second. So if I was here,
Ooh, lightning bolt formation.
35 feet. I think that's well. Actually, it's going to be starting here technically. Yeah, I'll take that attack of opportunity.
All right.
I move to here.
I offer you a 10.
You miss. And then I send a scorching pillar of flame along this deliciously appropriate line that catches all the enemies and none of my allies.
Like,
Well
I think
done,
it's an
sir.
evoker. You get some sort of, like, you get a Chivo for that, I think.
I
Like
think
a big
so.
Clearly.
bonk goes off.
I thought it was triple word score.
Yes, that's
Ooh.
it. That's it. Triple word score. All right, so everybody's taking 7.
Well, I get a save. Dex save for half.
Okay, sure. So I got 2 of these guys. Badonk, badonk. 2 of these guys. Badonk, badonk.
Dude, I just want to know where you got a red dragon scale.
Down at the store.
Yeah,
Discount dragon scales.
the quartermaster for Glerndar has a few and issues them very rarely. All right, so I have an 18, a 5, a 19, and 8. So that looks like a perfectly bimodal distribution.
Yep.
So this thing dies.
Woohoo!
I take half on a save.
You take half on a save. So you still take fire damage, which is important.
Yes. And it's 7, so minus plus 3.
Mm-hmm.
This one takes 7. Oop, I think that is too much. Nope, I live! But it does take fire damage, which is going to mean it's not going to live for long. And then this one takes 3.
So my driving scale is actually only this big. It's very small. It's from the right on the edge of the tail. It's tiny, tiny.
And it's like been used by mages in
yeah.
Agleron for like 30 years.
Just a pinch.
Pass me down.
Yeah. All right. So that was exciting. You done? Anything else?
That's me.
All right. The yellow one is like, holy hell, what just happened? I didn't even see it. Thinks about trying to go get whatever hit it by fire, but decides instead that the human in front of them looks more tasty. Ron, may I offer Victor a 15 to hit?
That will not pierce the splint I think I'm wearing.
All right. It goes and you catch it on one of your what's the word I'm looking for? Not grieve.
Vambrace.
Vambrace. Thank you. You catch it on your vambrace, and you can just see like it's blunting its wooden teeth against the steel of your armor.
Metal beats wood.
It does quite frequently. Fire, so no regen. Yeah, that's all I got. Ross.
Well, having been completely ignored, I'm going to dig my feet into the mud and in one swift jumping motion,
Ooh.
I'm going to throw myself at the one that's attacking Mira.
Okay.
And might I add that I add 10 additional feet to my long jump checks.
Okay.
It's my one special power. I've got to use it.
Maybe like
That's how things work.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
you saw
you-
Wildfire used his one special power to kill most of the monsters.
like
I mean, some of us have useful special powers. Some of us just add 10 feet to our long jump distance.
you do look like Jordan going in for a dunk. Like you make it look good. Now, and you hit.
I will
for
get a 24 for 8 points of damage.
on the sticker creature full of hate.
That's it.
All right, it expires. You cleave it in half, and it starts to
Ooh.
disintegrate into the muck. Anything else,
That's it for me.
Victor?
I will swing my greatsword at the green plant creature.
All right. That will hit, and you destroy it. You cleave it in half, and it kind of goes plunk, and falls down and starts disintegrating into the muck.
Damn, that's some damage too. Like,
Yeah.
hot.
It's all toothpicks now.
I have a
Right.
special bond with my sword, so it gives me that little extra.
Ooh.
I see. Anything else?
I will. I could retreat behind the bard, but I think I'll stay where I am.
I mean, we could just swapsies. Like, you could retreat behind me, and isn't that a move in chess? Like the king's.
It's
castle?
kind of like a double Jerry shuffle.
Mm.
But no, I will hold my ground.
Okay.
I thought the Jerry shuffles where you went away, not when you went forward.
Well, he was talking about moving away, I believe.
All right, so I will move my little goat hooves into the difficult terrain with the creature. And then once again, I shall call upon the righteousness of Talos to inflict this creature with great harm. Yeah. Or I'll just
Like it sees you coming and just kind of like lifts up the paw as you're swinging.
And as it lifts up, I lean in a little bit more, which causes my hooves to sink into the muck, and I just make a very manly noise. Very
Whoa! A very manly goatee noise.
yes.
All
It is
right,
high-pitched.
you make a very manly bleat of manliness.
Yes.
Mira.
My poke goes wide.
Mira decides that she really wants this fire thing to work. So she's going to create a new bonfire. Oh, I can move it. Oh my God. I can't.
Oh,
I'm going to
it's probably-
move.
Probably because
Yeah.
I made it. I'll just pull it over here. How's that?
I will generate a new little campfire right underneath I will light a fresh fire underneath this remaining stick creature here.
All right, I owe you a dex save.
Yes.
It was not expecting that. It was not expecting that, and its belly is kind of crouched down, so its belly is kind of low to the ground. You're treated to the smell of burning, wet vegetation as it.
Do you smell something burning? Do you? It will enjoy 8 points of burning type damage.
You know.
Our damage rolls are on fire, yo.
Yeah,
They
literally,
Yep.
literally.
Oh.
All right, so it screeches in plenty pain as you burn its belly.
Again, so many questions.
I know. Anything else for Miss Mira? If not, then
No,
we'll-
she's very pleased where she is, which is sort of crouching here in the bushes, observing wildlife react to her experimentations.
Fair. All right. Speaking of wild, how about wildfire?
So Wildfire marches forward, and kind of reaches his hand up into his hair, where there's kind of always this trail of sparks there, and he kind of like
Ooh.
coalesces them around his hand and then tosses them at the creature.
You may have an inspiration point for an excellent spell description.
You're just throwing your hair at them?
Wildfire is shedding.
Man, it's a bitch on your clothes.
He's got to
Yeah,
pay
well.
extra to the barber.
Yeah. All right, so that will hit all day long, and you do 8 points of damage. I live. I'm fine. Everything is fine. All right, and I have taken some damage, fire damage, so I'm not regenerating. Life is pain. All right, so it's my turn, huh?
It
It
is.
is.
Well, I have a goat person who is not particularly exciting, a guy with a great sword who's a little threatening, and then the goddamn person throwing fire at me. All right, so it leaps over Silvio's head, offering you both attacks of opportunity as it charges at Wildfire.
I mean, I will not turn down this opportunity.
Now it's just
I'm
copying
very
me.
sad I missed with my my booming blade now, though.
Yeah. I aimed for the underneath, but I don't know if I got it.
You did not, however, Silvio catches it as it's leaping over with the moon touch rapier, and just lays open its charred belly, and you are treated to a bunch of wet vegetation being dumped upon your head as it falls dead at your feet.
These swamps, you never know what to expect out here.
We should keep an eye out for more of these.
Paige, as we kind of pat out any fires that might have spread, I'm going to also collect some of the remains of these creatures.
Okay.
I kind of walk around poking them, looking to see if they have anything of value. They don't. It's very sad.
Like I said, they're made out of stickers and hate, and that's about all they've got.
Gross.
What are you talking about? Look at this stick here. This would make an excellent arrow.
It's
It
it's, all,
looks more
it's,
like
it's all
backstrap.
bent. Like I don't understand. Like I don't understand
And
how
this
you make
leaf
arrows.
here, this could be used for something.
Are you
so
really
the-
into resin artwork? Is that what's going on? You're like, yes, this would go perfectly in my resin statue. Excellent.
It must really resonate with him.
Well, it's funny that you say that because as we wrap up, I pull out my staff and I make a circle of flowers around where their corpses were and say a small prayer to them.
You have an inspiration point for acting in character.
I give an inspiration to point to someone who needs it.
Someone.
I need it.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you.
Mira will actually come over and take a look at the remains of these plant creatures. She's trying to remember if they're in fact an introduced species or if they're wholly local.
Make me a is this an introduced species or a native species check?
I will go with nature.
All right. No, these are totally local. They're actually they are plant creatures, but oh, hey kitty. But what animates them is actually kind of a mix of various types of magic. Um, dark magics. There's been a lot of battles between Aglarond and Thay in this marsh, and so there's a lot of dead things here. And so they tend to grow out of places where like corpses have been buried, and given the twisted magics that could possibly be in here, they're kind of a symptom of something going quite wrong, but they're definitely local.
So we should fight with peace in our hearts so we don't add to the problem.
I don't know if I do peace in my heart. I don't know if that's a mode that I have.
I was about to say, this sounds very rough on some of us. Like, I can fight with peace in my heart, but...
I can set things on fire. How do you like that? I'll set things on fire. That'll give me peace in my heart.
Let's keep moving on. We don't need to disturb this place more than it really has.
I mean, I feel like Wildfire's pretty pieced off anyway.
Mira's correct. There could be more of them around, and killing these with fire might have just pissed them off more.
Or it might have made them afraid of us and not want to come nearer to the fire.
Well, for sure, anytime there's fire around in a marsh, there is one definite result, which is a lot of thick, stinky smoke. And as you are we taking a short rest now? Are we moving on?
Why don't we take a short rest?
Yeah, I think a short rest sounds good.
Yeah.
I think
I could
Rash
spend some hit
pushing
dice.
his insides back in.
I agree.
All right. So as you are settle down for your short rest, you take a while, and you put salve on the mosquito bites to keep them from getting infected, and tend to your wounds and readjust your gear. You hear someone hail you from the marsh in a foreign tongue that most of you probably do not recognize. And why don't we take a short break, and we'll get back to that when we come back.
Sounds
Paige,
good.
just as a quick aside, while we are taking our short rest within a short rest, I'm going to use I definitely have it, Hunter's Lore ability.
Okay.
Wait, no, that's not it. Cunning Artisan ability. Turn the sticks from the stickers of hate into darts.
Oh, clever. Sure. You absolutely can do that.
Okay. And we'll be right back.
5 minutes? 10 minutes?
5 minutes.
Ooh.
Welcome back to Feats and Fables. If you're just now joining us, our heroes have vanquished several plant monsters that had attacked them in the swamp. And as they were
Hurrah!
putting out fires and patching wounds, they hear a voice addressing them in Draconic from the swamp. Do anybody here speak Draconic?
I do.
Yes, you certainly do. And
I'm
in
shocked.
fact, you recognize the accent as definitely a lizard folk accent. Hello there. Hello there.
I will grab my staff and turn to face the voice. Who's there?
My name is Ross Cougar. This is Shatheth. And
Paige, I will take time to translate for my language challenged friends.
all right. Hang on.
Now I can't wait to hear Coda do just Dragonborn shenanigans, or not Dragonborn, but Lizard
Lizard
folk
folk.
shenanigans, and then do it in English in his accent back and forth.
It's his accent actually in lizard folk is like, hey y'all, how you doing?
believe
So
it.
wait a minute. Lizard folk are like the southerners of the Draconic
No,
language?
No.
Just
You're
Your accent is like you're from
Mm.
Osaka, is all we're saying. It's fine.
All right. Yes, one of them comes forward and says, my name is Rashugar. This is Shatheth, Hesk, and Kasuk. We are hunting in this area. We mean you no harm. And these lizard folk, let me pull you over here. One of them is very clearly a shaman, and they have a necklace of alligator teeth around their neck. And as that figure hails you, a flicker of magical fire flies around their fingers. The other three look like lizard folk warriors.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that because much like the shaman, Ross is also an albino skin type with black stripes across his back and a armlet made of tiger's claws. And I will kind of give him the international lizard folk symbol of shaman respect.
The shaman bows rather elaborately towards Ross and says, may we approach your camp? Or are the rest of these barbarians going to react poorly?
They want to approach.
I mean, I see no reason why they shouldn't. I mean,
Yeah.
provided they are saying everything that you are saying that they are saying. If it is something else, then perhaps not, but that gets very complicated very quickly.
Perhaps they can be of some assistance to us to give us some directions if they found any people wandering the swamp.
My long con of finally getting my revenge on the humans has come to fruition.
Oh,
Does that
really?
just point
You've been
to
leaving
reveal
us
some-
alone for a while.
Don't say that out loud. All right.
You
So,
weren't supposed to say that in common.
you managed to
Damn!
you managed to isolate the least valuable members of the Aglarondine army and get them out into the swamp.
There's not
The
even
ones that honestly, if they lost, they'd be totally fine with.
Yeah, my bag lunch says
No.
expendable on it.
Y'all did that to yourselves.
You may approach, but if you wish ill intent, it will be met in kind.
The shaman's body language, because lizard folk are very expressive folk, and they have both the spoken language and as well as the tone of the language, but their body language is very expressive. And the lizard folk shaman gives the shrug of, if you don't start none, there won't be none. That is acceptable to us.
Then come and share with us this meal.
and in tradition, I will break portions of my rations and give them to each the shaman first, then the warriors, and effectively break bread with them.
Except it's meat, of course.
Right.
Yeah, so the shaman gestures to one of the warriors, and the warrior reaches into their pack back and kind of digs around and pulls out kind of like a chunk of meat like this that looks like it's been jerkified, and then pulls out a bone knife and then cuts out real thin slices of it and hands it to you like a charcuterie plate, with the obvious intent that you would pass it around to any of your companions if they were of the type to eat good food.
I will offer each person some jerkied alligator in turn.
I enjoy meat.
Yep,
We
I'll eat.
are. Oh, good. We are looking for humans from the east, who are moving west. You wouldn't happen to have seen any such as they.
We have been tracking two groups in the swamp. One, a group of a few humanoids. I don't know exactly what they are, but humanoids, humans, perhaps half-elves, unknown. They all kind of the same. And then a slightly larger group of gnolls. The humanoids bring in much higher bounties from the Thavian patrols than the gnolls do.
Bounties from where?
They point back to the east from Thay.
I see. And where were these humans you saw?
The shaman kind of goes like this and says, "They're ones that we're tracking. We hope to get the bounty on them. If you'd like to know the location of the gnolls, perhaps. The bounties on the gnolls are miserable anyway. I'd be happy to tell you where those are."
Do they pose any threats to you and yours?
It's a larger group. I wouldn't be excited. Now, this is all being conducted in Draconic.
Mhm.
That's the only reason that Silvio has stayed quiet.
Okay. I wouldn't be excited to take on a band of gnolls this large, but with the appropriate stealth, I wouldn't feel terrible about it. Do you know anything about what's happening to the west of here?
What do you mean?
Something large is altering the wildlife. All the alligators are going in different places. The shambling mounds are shambling into different areas. It's a big disruption on the wildlife to the west.
I have not heard any news, but I can ask my companions. Perhaps one of them knows. And I'll turn to the rest of you. They say that something is disturbing the wildlife to the west. None of y'all know anything about that, do you?
Didn't we come from the west?
We
I mean,
did, kind of.
Ish.
I mean, the port is to the west of where we currently are.
There are several groups that left from the keep and headed out into the swamps. Maybe it's our group's passage that is upsetting the wildlife.
And I would think I might know something about the wildlife to the west.
You could make me have I noticed something about the wildlife to the west, Jack?
Can I assist?
Y'all
Yeah.
can do it together or separately as you feel appropriate.
I clicked the thing.
Okay.
It was a good thing. It was a 19, so I think it's pretty decent.
Mira don't need no help.
So now that Mira kind of thinks about it, to the southwest, kind of well out of your patrol area, you noticed that given the migration path of some of the larger alligators combined with tracks you'd found of other wildlife, it indicates, that there's something disturbing the allocation of predators to the southwest.
Disturbing the allocation of predators, like there's too many of them, or suddenly a lot of them are disappearing, or
like some of the top level predators are getting run out.
I see. So that might be the kind of thing where I imagine that something else has sort of taken their place and is scaring them off. That's even worse than they are. Potentially. Why else would the predators leave? Unless all the food went away too.
You'd have to go check.
So I'll turn, after Mira kind of explains, I'll turn back to what was the shaman's name?
Rashugagar.
I'll turn back to Rashugagar and kind of explain.
My companions seem to think that something has chased either the predators or their prey out of that area.
I sent a patrol to check, probably a hand of days ago. They haven't come back. If you see them or find their bodies, start a small fire. I'll send a patrol to recover.
We could do that, but I am still interested in these humans you are tracking. Perhaps if we make a point to go and investigate these troubles you are having, you could return a favor in kind and lead us, or at least give us the last sightings you had of the humans.
We haven't seen them, only footprints. I'll think about it. The other threats that I've seen around here that you might be interested in is a group of half-elves off to the north that are also mercenaries. We had fought with them trying to find some goblins that had escaped, and they killed them all. We at least got to eat the corpses, but while it's a nice meal, it doesn't do anything to give us coin for our pockets.
We will keep an eye out for these mercenaries. Did they have any sort of symbology?
No, but they weren't Aglarondan. They might have been half-elves, but in the shaman gestures at the group of you, most of you have not uniforms, but at least you dress similarly. These were not like that.
So nothing like this.
And I'll kind of point at the big "Do Not Kill Me" badge that the Aglarons gave me when they conscripted me.
No, they weren't foresters. That I promise you. We know how Aglarond works. We've been living here longer than most of the half-elves.
I am new here and just learning of their ways, hence my debt owed to them.
Do you know, if you're a slave here, we can help you fight all the rest of these and kill them and set you free.
Isan has ordered me not to indulge in my more primal urges.
That one looks rather tasty, are you sure?
It would shame my shaman. I will not have it.
Ras, why is he pointing at me?
He says you look delicious, but I will not let him indulge.
Wait, what?
Wait, Silvio's the delicious one?
Huh.
Let's be honest. Among the group of us, which one of us would be the most delicious?
I mean, if your taste is stringiness and hairiness.
We have already shared meal. They would not dare go against the tradition. They know that if they did, they would pay for it with their lives.
Ras, what is it that they are doing in the swamp, by the way? There was something about stuff with Mira, but is that what they're here for, or is it something else?
They've told me that they are tracking a group of human,
And I've already briefly kind of mentioned all this to you as I've translated.
a group of humans, and they've also run into some gnolls and some mercenaries. But
Are they...
And I will turn back to them to confirm.
this swamp is your tribe's territory.
This area is, yes.
This is their hunting ground and territory.
Right, but these humans that they say they are tracking, would perhaps these be refugees that they are looking for as well?
That is my suspicion, as they want to return them to Thay for
Wait,
a
what?
bounty.
That's very bad.
There is a opportunity that if we investigate what is driving the predators and their prey from the west, that they will lead us to, or at least point us in the right direction of, the humans.
But if they are hunting them for a bounty, perhaps we should offer a counteroffer in addition? In the event that they are found while we are off doing this other thing, and then they go back to Thay, and then, I am not proud of some of the things we have done, but we have not exactly screwed the pooch yet. We have just let down our commanding officer, and I would prefer not to have on my record that I also, just saying, had refugees slip through my fingers and be returned to Thay.
Each of those problems was well documented to be not our fault or responsibility.
So, Paige,
I'm merely saying I do not want this to be the first time that we actually fucked up.
during my draconic negotiations with these guys, do I get any sense and that they are being at all dishonest, or do I get a feeling that they would go back on their word if we make a pact?
Your passive insight is a whopping 14.
It is.
So you don't think that they will, and they, as a rule, most of the lizard folk just do not give a damn about Thay or Aglarond or none of that bullshit. They're just, that's people problems. That is not
right. They're in it for the gold.
Handing over being refugee catchers for Thay is just something that happens to pay. And money is useful because it gets you the things you can't get in the swamp. So you don't get the impression that they have any loyalty to Thay. It's just a way to make a buck. If anything, they seemed kind of pissed off at the idea that there was a camp of human or half-elven refugee catchers in here that had taken their last prey, or their last group of goblins that they were tracking.
Got it. So I'll turn back to Rosagon. I'm going to need his name in writing so I can remember it somewhere.
I will put it...
Rexagon.
Wait a minute, is one of you Ross and one of you is Rosagon?
Yes, it is.
Completely different. It's Rashagugar.
Rashagugar. Rashagugar, if we were to dispatch the refugee catchers that took your previous pay, would that be enough for you to disclose your current prey?
Will you go investigate what is going on to the southwest? I've lost 4 kin to it already. I don't want to lose more.
You said that the mercenaries were to the north?
Yes.
We can't do both at once. You wouldn't go back on your word if we agree to this and take our absence as an opportunity to turn the refugees in for coin.
The shaman leans back and narrows their eyes at you and says, no. And they hold out their arm and then they peel one of the scales off the underside of their arm and hold it out to you. And by holding that scale, by having their scale, if they were to break their word to someone who is holding one of their scales, that is as if they had broken their pact with nature, their ability to be a shaman. It is how you lose your magic if you go back on a pact with somebody who holds one of your scales.
And then I will return in kind.
Then we have a deal.
Before I pull one of my scales off,
let me confer to make sure that this arrangement satisfies my companions.
And I'll turn to the group.
What do you think?
How much of a bounty will they get for the humans if they turn them over to the Thay?
Is that important?
I mean, everything's relative, right? Like, the Thayans might only be giving them, 1 gold a human or something.
And we could easily double that. I am not against helping to solve other problems. I just want to make sure that, this is agreeable, and I'm not quite sure what you do pulling parts of yourselves off.
I will I will kind of chalk this one up to human strangeness and turn back to Rashuragar, and
They want to know what you are being paid for these refugees by the
Yeah.
Thane.
We get 1 sheep per refugee, which immediately turns into food.
and I lick my lips at the thought of a delicious sheep.
Right? You don't get sheep in the swamp. That's hard to get. That's hard to get. Plus, we get metal weapons, 1 per refugee, and we get 35 gold.
They get 35 gold, weapons, and a sheep.
And you can tell that he has clearly prioritized these things from least important to most important.
Yeah, clearly.
Delicious sheep.
Per refugee.
I mean, you got to make it worth not eating the refugee. Because refugees are delicious if you're a lizard folk.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Mhm.
You said 35 gold, weapons, and a sheep per refugee, right?
But only for the good ones. If we bring in something like gnolls or goblins, so many of the gnoll battalions have left there recently. We'd be lousy with them. Turns out they're not even particularly good to eat.
Apparently, the more monstrous humanoids that leave Thay are worth less.
That's very racist. Or speciesist, I suppose.
So these lizardmen are basically slavers.
Yes.
I mean, they're the precursors to modern policemen.
Damn.
Savage.
I think we should leave the burns to wildfire.
Nicely done, Code. Nicely done.
Oh.
Also, damn you, Paige, for making me the only one that can talk to these people. We're
Hey,
gonna
I
get
thought
through
it'd
it
be a
though.
fun
We're gonna get through
flame.
it though.
You're
At
doing
least
a
we have
fantastic
someone.
job.
Paige wants to make sure I don't talk for a week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's entirely possible somebody else spoke Draconic.
Also, you chose this voice.
Entirely self-inflicted.
Yep.
So what do you think? Is an arrangement to go on a surveying of the Southwest an acceptable agreement? Or will we offer them something as valuable as sheep and weapons?
Well, let's put it about this way. What if back at their camp they had a human child refugee and they told us that if we didn't go fight this monster, they'd kill the human child? Would we just go fight the monster?
I am not here to judge them on what ifs and hypotheticals. They have given their word and are ready to trade scales. That is good enough for me.
But Ezeets?
I don't know what to say to that, really. It's you sound very certain, and for us to doubt you sounds like it would challenge your honor.
I mean, are you just collecting scales? Do you want to get like one of each tribe or something?
Ooh.
Giving me the scale. He is forfeiting his magic if he goes back on his word.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Not to mention, we would be well within our rights to slay him and his kin.
I don't know. I think we should just keep looking for the humans and leave the lizardmen to fight their own problems. But if you guys think this is a good trade to make,
Lizard folk, they're definitely not men.
Seems like a reasonable trade because we both get what we want and stop them from getting the thing that we want. Like, we're trading both.
Yeah, and we won't end up having to fight them later, it sounds like.
well, if we don't kill the whatever it is, it'll maybe keep killing them and they'll stop being a problem.
They just asked to know what it was, to clarify. They
Oh,
have
did
no
they?
information
Okay.
about
if
whatever's
nothing else,
messing with the natural ecology. They do know they do seem to know pretty well about the camp of humans and half elves that are basically competing with them, and they would be delighted if you would wipe them out.
But again, the human and half-elves are to the north. The mysterious threat is to the south.
I have an interest in investigating the mysterious threat, regardless.
Right, so it seems like we killed two birds with one stone by going and investigating it.
I mean, we were out there for what, 10 days? Like, we could do both. We could do all kinds of things. Like, it sounds good to me.
How long would it take for us to transit from that likely southern point to that likely northern point, or vice versa?
I mean,
you don't know where they are. You don't know the roughness of the terrain.
Okay.
You don't know how far south you got to go.
Yeah.
I mean, is it more than 10 days? Absolutely not. Is it more than a day or two? Probably.
I mean, I could ask, like, how far to the southwest is this mysterious threat?
I'm not sure. I think it must be at least a day and a half, 2-day walk from here.
And my companions want to know about the refugee hunters to the north. How far away would you say they are?
They're exactly 2 days away. I can draw you a rough map of their camp. They seem to be a little much for us to take, but you have humans with us. You can take them out, and they won't come after your scales for it.
If you draw us a map there, I will continue to consult with my companions.
And the lizard folk reaches their hand out towards some of the water nearby and does some sort of arcane spell. Is anybody going to freak out?
Counterspell!
I mean, you're third level. I mean,
that's true.
That's what you got.
No, is there anything I'm familiar with that they're doing?
I mean, would you like to make me an Arcana check?
I certainly can do that thing. I'd like to know.
Okay, there.
You know what?
Nah. Apparently, I don't give a flying flip.
I'll give an Arcana check. I'm a.
There's a 20 on every
Knight.
die.
There we go. I'm an Eldritch Knight.
Victor.
You know what? I'm training to be a shaman. I'm gonna give an Arcana check.
Coda, you would have advantage on it, but you.
So literally everyone's better than the wizard. That makes sense.
Yeah. Sure, he's not a sorcerer.
Look, Wildfire's really good at certain things. Knowing about magic is not the same as using
No. Paying attention to garbage is not one of those things.
See, I was being more delicate about it, but that's our Wildfire. Just,
All right, Silvio, Ross, and Victor. You realize this is not a standard spell that is known to humanoids who might be from the player's handbook. But it looks like a very low level of illusion spell.
So it's from Xanathar's.
Probably. But as the shaman moves their hand, the water basically slides in a blop over towards your area, and it builds a little illusionary model of the marsh.
Ooh.
They say that this is where the human refugee hunters are, to the north of us.
Some of them are half-elves.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you speak common now?
Oh, sorry. Never mind. I withdraw the question.
I like the idea that they all actually speak common, and they're just fucking with you.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Actually, they do not.
Aww.
They do not speak common.
That was
not that I'm the least bit shy about altering a stat block, but as written, they do not speak common.
Just to review, they will potentially agree if we go and investigate these mystery to the southwest, but we could sweeten the deal for them by taking out their adversaries to the north. What do you think?
Well, our adversaries to the north might, if they're humans, they might actually have stuff that's worth taking, so that's always good.
Not to mention it would be stopping more of your slavers, if that's something we're worried about, Victor.
So why do we want to take out the slavers to the north, but not the slavers we're talking to?
Because what if those slavers have a small human child that they threaten the life of?
All that aside, if we go a few days south to get their problem first, that seems like there's a decent chance this other group of half-elves would find the refugees, since that's, what they do. And then the lizard folk would have kept their word, but we still would have missed our opportunity to get the refugees.
I imagine they will not care what order we deal with these threats in.
Let's deal with the humans first, then.
That's fine by me. I think the situation in the south is at least unknowable enough that. Well, no, I think the humans have to take importance here.
Right. And I'll turn back to Rushagor. My companions are willing to offer that we will take out the humans and half-elves to the north before investigating this mystery to the southwest, in exchange for dealing with both of these problems. Or at least dealing with the hunters and investigating the mystery to the southwest, that you will help lead us to the human refugees that you hunt.
So the look on the shaman's face is clearly that they are not super excited to be giving up the humanoids that they've been tracking.
I agree.
I mean, but but you can see the calculation. What is today's sheep versus getting both of these problems out of our scales? So the shaman says, "It's a deal. We'll lead you to the refugees now, at least as close as I think we can get."
Then I will remove one of my arm scales in the same fashion that he did, and
it's painful. It hurts. It's like getting a really bad hangnail.
Making
Tanasi
an
really tilts
unbreakable
her head
promise.
at this. Yeah,
making an unbreakable promise is painful. So,
yeah.
And we'll exchange scales.
But the thing is, if he breaks his promise, he loses his magic. But if Ras breaks his promise, he loses
my magic.
Which is how strong you swing sword? Like me?
My magic is one of spirits.
Plus, any lizard folk who would break that kind of promise is universally outcast among their people. Plus, there's all kinds of curses. I mean, it's bad news.
Not to mention, if we break our word, Rashagar would have all rights to kill each one of us.
Or enslave us and give us to the Thay?
That could be potentially a thing as well.
Actually, they're not slave takers. They're just catchers.
They're taking people against their will and giving them to people that will enslave them. That's
pretty much, yes.
Like, we are splitting some interesting hairs here that I'm not sure.
I'm just pointing out they're not raiding Aglarond in order to find people to transport them to Thay. I want to be clear on that point.
I mean, sure, they're opportunistic slavers as opposed to, intentional slavers.
Sure.
Because that's so much better, y'all.
It's not. It's not. You are being presented with a difficult moral choice. Enjoy. Option B is that you just murder them all right now, which...
I mean, personally...
help yourselves.
They've already exchanged scales.
We are being more than generous to them.
Well, right, so are they going to protect these people then for us as we go about these missions for them?
Well, they said they lead us to the people first, so we can take the people, get them close enough to safety and then go back and do the things
okay.
we said we would do.
Sure, sounds great.
So at least this
Maybe. Oh,
this deal seems good so far in that at least we get our primary objective done first before we risk our lives to keep the slavers happy.
Sounds good.
Roz, if you have a relationship now with these lizard folk, maybe they could be convinced to, I don't know, work on our side of the equation when it comes to these refugees rather than
I do
the
not,
slavers.
sir. I would not call what this is a relationship. We have shared a meal and thus a fire, but that is as far as things like this would go. Typically, when two tribes meet, if it were not for my shamanistic training, I would be an intruder in their territory.
So you have no basis to make commerce?
It would require much more than one breaking of food to ask a favor of that magnitude.
But it does appear that they are pretty mercenary in what they do. Like, a sheep is a sheep. They don't care where they got it from.
And they're a lot
Okay.
closer to Aglaron than they are to Thay, so
Perhaps this would be something more for, how do you say it, the
commanding officer.
commanding officer.
If only you had one.
I look at the goat.
Yes.
No.
No, the actual, not
you.
you, the actual goat we're bringing with us, who is our commander. We put a badge on him and everything.
It was a chicken, not a goat.
Hey, it's a chicken.
Yes.
Let's go retrieve these people.
Then we rest. I.e., we finish our 10-minute rest or whatever, because I don't think that
An
actually
hour.
ever happened.
It's an
An
hour.
There we
hour,
go.
but
We
sure.
finish our hour.
Sure, and
Or
the
power
lizard
hour.
folk are happy to, trade interesting things. They have a really effective mosquito sap that they're more than happy to trade for small amounts of something interesting.
I've got sticker darts.
Yeah, they'll take some sticker darts for mosquito sap.
Don't
Done.
they all have the same racial ability you do?
Yes, but those are made out of fin beasts.
That's true. They got some swagger to them.
They do.
I mean, that sticker sap is made out of the finest alloy, so... Or aloe?
Aloe.
Aloe. There we go.
Aloe.
That's the
I
one.
think it's made up a mixture of metals, my friends.
I mean, it could be. You don't know.
Their mosquito sap is a giant sword. They used to just cut all the mosquitoes apart.
Perhaps their mosquito salve is full plate armor, okay?
If,
I heard Joe's erection from here, and not even playing a character that can wield full plate in this game.
Yeah, but can you imagine the chafing in full plate in the swamp?
Yeah,
I mean,
The mosquitoes
world-
would have to roll an 18 to hit when they bite you, so...
That's true.
you would just grease yourself up.
So, the lizard folk lead us where?
So, sure, the lizard folk lead you deeper into the swamp. And they say, we've been tracking them for quite a while over this way.
Oh god, this map is huge.
This map is real big.
Are you going to move our little people, or do we need to move them?
I'll move them in a minute.
Okay.
I'm using one map because it's large, but it actually takes you hours to walk where you need to walk. It just happens to look like this map a bit.
That makes sense. I mean, I imagine the swamp is pretty...
I mean, the swamp looks like a swamp, looks like a swamp.
Is a diverse ecosystem with some of the most differentiated plants and animals on the planet.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
agree.
Mira.
It is some
Bruh.
beautiful, beautiful black mana. So after hours and hours of walking, and it's getting towards sunset, the lizard folk actually run into another lizard folk. And after a hurried conversation and some pointing, Ross, you realize that the other lizard folk is a member of their tribe and says, "Yeah, I've tracked a quartet of people over that way."
They say they've found 5 of them.
All right. If they say they found 5, we'll accept them. We'll expect them to show us the 5.
Right? That's a quartet. 4 of them.
I was not able to correct you because I don't speak Draconic. Otherwise,
No, that was me to you.
Yeah.
In common.
Fair.
So
That's what I was doing. When you said 5, I was repeating so that it would be like they shortchanged us when they showed up and there was only 4.
No, you say that, and then I think about it for a second, and I look down at my claw, and I'm like, 4 of them.
The numbers sound very similar in Draconic and Common. Very similar.
It's a good thing the rest of us can't incite their whole Draconic conversation.
No, you can. You can totally throw me some insight checks.
I was doing it.
I'm a barbarian doing my best to negotiate.
I was,
So,
was like
little
that
body
YouTube
language check
song.
here. Oh no, I'm not pulling
So
off
your
this time. now.
passive is 13. So
Yeah.
I'm willing to take that. What kind of question are you asking here?
Are we being led into a terrible trap? We're full of terrible things.
No, you think they're on the up and up. Like
All right.
they're not good aligned,
Of course.
but they seem to be creatures that take their word very seriously.
I wonder what we're worth. Like 2 sheep each?
You'd have to ask. That would be a little tough to pick up from body language. But they get to about this point on the map and they say, "We think they're back that way a bit."
Pointing to the
South.
on the map.
Yeah.
All right, then. And I will turn to the group and say, they believe that they are just to the south there.
How exciting.
Let's do it.
Let's go to the south.
Yes.
Paige, I'm going to start stealthing my way south.
All right. The lizard folk shrug and they're like, "You've got this. We're going to continue hunting the gnolls, so at least we've got something. And they're going to be going in a different direction. So if you find our kin or their bodies, start a small fire. We'll see the smoke and come. And we'll check in on the mercenary camp in a few days. Hopefully you will have had a chance to be there by then."
Just to be fair, anytime we fight anything, we're probably going to be setting a fire. So maybe there's like a special type of fire we can make.
All right. And then they FRO into the woods. And by the woods, I mean the swamp.
Into the woods.
Unless somebody wants to do something about that.
I am going to make a quick correction page. I am not going to stealth my way to the south. Instead, I'm going to turn to Silvio and say, perhaps one of you should lead when confronting these refugees.
I mean, I am happy to talk to them and see what we find out.
I mean, I can go forward and scout just to verify what's actually to the south of us if you guys want.
I'm going to reset the fog of war. Hang on just a second. I'll light it back up.
You mean you'd use your familiar?
I mean, or I could use my stealth.
Oh, okay. I mean, so we're sneaking up on the refugees?
Well, we don't. All we know there right now is that they're humans. We're not sure that they're refugees yet.
That humans and half elves.
Nope. They're humanoids.
Oh, okay.
The refugees that they were tracking, the lizard folk clearly referred to as humanoid.
Well, they're not. We know they're not gnolls, right?
We know they're not gnolls. They specified gnolls as something else entirely.
Well, if they're worth a sheep, then they're probably pretty sentient and stuff. Like, they're probably not going to be myconids or something.
Yeah, I mean, I can send my familiar out that way. So, Paige, I send my snake off in that direction.
Is it a flying snake?
No, just a normal snake, but we're in a swamp, so it's fine.
Is it a badger, 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 badger?
Snake! 30-foot move on that snake.
I believe that is true.
Paige, you seem to have removed me from the map.
No, you're there.
Oh,
you're,
I
you're
did.
No.
Yeah, your coloration changed completely.
Oh, I mixed up.
What are you trying to say, Paige? That all lizard folk look alike?
I'm saying I have map. I have the map on 50%. Everything looks like a postage stamp.
Paige has a movement of 30 feet and a swim of 30 feet.
Okay, so.
And the cool thing is it doesn't even need to hide because, like, it's a snake.
It's a snake, right? There are just snakes here.
There are just snakes here.
And I use my familiar bond with it to look through its eyes.
Now I'm taking the map down to 20%.
Ooh, I could transform into a constrictor snake.
Ooh, we should have made an all-snake party.
Or a giant frog.
And then somebody should have played a Yuan Ti. All right, so it takes a while, a few minutes. But your snake gets. I'm just going to light up the rest of the map because you see it through the snake's eyes, and you see in an opening in the marsh on this kind of like solid bit here. You see 4 tieflings who look ragged, muddy, and generally pretty torn up, making their way through the swamp. Like one of them like face plants into the mud and the others try and help them up. And unfortunately, behind them, crawling out of the muck itself, are... Where the shit did I put that? Okay, so you see 4 tieflings. We'll get to them in a minute. All right. Are several undead creatures.
Oh, holy fuck.
So the refugees are being attacked by some tieflings.
No, the tiefling refugees are being attacked by undead Ronalds.
Oh, okay. The undead are... We're just assuming they're the bad guys.
Are we having
here's
interpretation
the
problems?
All you know is you have 4 tieflings being chased by undead.
I'm sorry.
I am not making
I
any
believe,
character judgments on which ones are good guys, bad guys, other guys, what have you.
I believe that is all Wildfire knows.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
I mean, hopefully he called out when he saw the tieflings in danger.
Yeah. So functionally, I'll say the tieflings are being attacked. We should... Or I'm sorry, what I will say is the refugees are being attacked. We should go save them.
Sounds legit to me. Let's go.
All right. Joe, you see one of them who is kind of a larger female tiefling with a scarred face, like chopping at them with like basically a big long stick.
Mm-hmm.
She's got good form, but clearly not the right kind of weapons.
Sure.
But they do not look like they are winning this fight.
Sure.
All right, did I take you back to this map? I did.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you gonna do?
How far is that away, Paige?
It's 150 feet or so.
Okay.
Let me measure. So from the tree stump to the lead tiefling, it's 140 feet.
All right, that's great. Should we?
Let's go.
Should we roll into initiative or just we run as fast as we can and then you start initiative at some later point?
Do you have any particular way you want to get up there? Run as fast as you can, sneak up in the bushes, transform into giant eagles and fly. Otherwise, I can just move your minis down and you can start from closer.
I mean, I can make one of us fly, but I don't know that one of us having extra speed is going to help.
It's true. I think I'm comfortable enough just running as fast as I can down there.
I mean,
Yeah, I think
is any one of us faster than 30 feet?
I am also 30 feet.
I'm 35.
All right.
Those little goaty hooves just...
Um, yeah, I
Let's
don't
go
know.
get them.
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
know
see
if
why
we
we just don't rush down there.
Yeah, I don't think we have a better plan than get them,
Wait.
Paige.
Fair enough. I just didn't want to just assume the plan was get them and you guys had something elaborate.
Nope.
Nope.
I think the most elaborate part of it is that Silvio will strum his lute and will cast a spell upon good friend Ross. Because Ross is going to get up in there, right? You're going to get up in there, right? I mean, like, let's be honest.
And Mira is like, I think I'm going to do this one as a giant lizard.
Right?
If
Let me
anyone
get you a
needs- kind of-
token.
If anyone needs a ride,
I mean, how fast is a giant lizard?
Are you large?
yep, giant lizard can be ridden or used as a draft animal.
I'm in. Let's do it.
That's pretty
I
cool.
can't imagine Wildfire being like, wait a minute, I could not use my own feats?
Woo!
Yep.
Thank you, studio audience, for putting up with us, sort of getting our feet under us when it comes to combat. We're trying different things here.
Nice
All right,
token.
Andrew. This should do the thing.
Awesome.
And then Paige, just so that we're clear, the spell that I'm casting on Ross is protection from evil and good.
Right. I will give him... You know, he never used that inspiration, despite the fact I gave him a marker.
I know, right?
Never had the opportunity.
Well,
hit.
here's the thing: it's working as intended because as soon as I gave it to him, he didn't miss.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
I mean,
That's a,
I think I missed once on an opportunity attack, but it was more than I think a D6 would have fixed.
And you are concentrating, so I'm going to give you the concentration symbol,
I am concentrating.
which is light bulb.
if casting a spell won't slow us down, then I'll also cast a spell.
Probably not in any significant way. I mean, unless you're taking 10 minutes to cast something.
No, so I'll cast protection from evil and good on myself.
Okay.
After we move the first round, I will actually, so I'll be a little behind everyone. I'll spend an action to let them know that we're coming from the direction that we're coming, and we're here to save them.
How are you doing that? Through snaky mouth?
Message.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I mean, you do also, isn't that the one where you have to reserve a couple of words to say you can respond to this message?
I don't think Wildfire is the type to do that. Like,
Absolutely
No.
not.
Okay, fair, but also, what about the burn, burn, burn that goes at the end of all of your messages?
No, that's important. It's critical to the spell.
I mean, that's why he's down to 22 words.
Right. It's fine.
Are you listening to them? Are you listening? Are you listening to them?
That's a very good call. That this giant lizard folk are not bad guys. That is key information.
All right.
Okay, so as you send a message to which one of them?
The one who is closest to us.
Okay. He looks around, startled, and his eyes get real big. I guess you can see that through your snake.
Mhm. Well, it's like my message is in essence, hey, we're here to save you. We're coming from this direction, probably led by a lizard man.
Okay.
Fire.
Fire, fire, fire. Burn, burn, burn.
Gotcha. All right. Noted. As soon as you do that, he yells something in Infernal, which I don't know that anybody who can hear it at that point.
I do.
Except this all happens when you guys are way far away.
Boo.
All right, so you run up. We have a lizard man. We have a Silvio. We have a Wildfire. We have a Victor Toussaint. And we have a giant lizard Mira. Mira lizard. So they see you, and as soon as the one in front sees you, he starts waving his hands back and forth like that. And this one casts some kind of spell at one of the undead. This one runs towards you. And this one in the back, she continues whacking at the two undead back there. If only she had a real weapon. Would you like to roll into initiative? She asks at 6 minutes before the podcast or stream ends.
Yep.
I mean, I think rolling for initiative is a great way to set us up to start next session. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that and make sure we capture all of the initiatives this time.
Sounds
good.
good.
At this point, ending our stream on rolling for initiative is turning into a tradition.
As is me rolling crappy initiatives.
Yes.
Do you need to clear the initiative track first?
She has
Probably.
already done so.
Oh, yep. It looks like
Because she
these
deleted the
are-
tokens.
I have a 10 for Mira. No.
Good
So I'm gonna
news, everybody. I got a 2 on my initiative.
Or
Nice.
Let's see if that works.
It did reset
Nope.
your initiative.
So I'm spending my inspiration on my initiative because it's the last roll of the night, and I'm going to hope to get inspiration relatively quickly next session.
it's good to have hope.
If only I.
I'm going to dare to dream. 16 is way better than the 4 I rolled before, so I'll take it.
Ooh.
All right. It updated your initiative appropriately.
Haha!
Also, guys, I had to check this, but I can totally cast magic. It just takes me 10 minutes, and all I can
Oh,
do
right,
is
you have
speak
speak
with
with
animal
animal.
and beast sense.
Yeah, you had magic.
See, I've got something to lose.
Never
Right.
stop being so awesome, Coda. Never.
Yeah.
Ever.
You were making that agreement in good faith.
Yeah, no, I was the one being the smartass, so. Shocker, everybody.
All right. Nice.
Oh, one undead has a 0.
Yes. He's slow. All right. So let's see what we got. So looks like some PCs, undead, a bunch of tieflings, some undead, some PCs, some undead. All right. I'm going to take a screenshot about this so that I'll have it for next week in case Roll20 forgets.
Saved for posterity.
For
Yup.
posterity.
Okay. All right. So let's recap and then call it a night.
Sounds great.
Alrighty. Tonight on Feats and Fables, the heroes of Aglarond engaged in an epic battle with angry plant life of the Umber Marshes. After that, parley with lizard folk. They found out that something large is disturbing wildlife in one area of the swamp, and another group of human and half-elven refugee catchers are in another area of the swamp. They've chosen to make a deal with the lizard folk to check those two out so that they could get the lizard folks information about where a group of refugees was. Once they got to the group of refugees, they found them chased by undead. Tune in next week and we'll see what happens then. So, thank you very much for playing D&D with us tonight. Let's see. Thank you for joining us on this adventure. We'll have the video up on YouTube and the audio in the places you get your podcast within the week, Joe? Okay. Please, if you can, follow us on Twitch, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really helps. And like us on iTunes. Even though we're not a podcast these days, our audio track is still going to be a podcast. And every time you can give us a like on iTunes, it really does help. Please join us next Monday night at 8 p.m. to see what happens next. Follow us to adventure.
To adventure!
To adventure.
So Roll20 is our virtual tabletop. Our music is by Kevin MacLeod at incomtech.com as served to us by Roll20. This music can be licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. Our maps are from Incarnate, Dungeon Painter Studio, or pulled from various places on the internet as the map logo indicates. See you next week.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Bye.